Maharaj.
Yes.
I was wondering, since today is Ekadasi, if you can tell us something about the importance of Ekadasi.
Ekadashi.
Yes.
Aprakrito. Aprakrito means which is like prakrito. Super mundane of prakrito, which is similar to mundane but not mundane. That is of prakrito, super mundane. The mundane color is there, so the word mundane is used. But we have to remind, give warning that this is not mundane, though similar to mundane. So aprakrita. So we are told that Krishna Maharaj is very super mundane, so like mundane. Similarity which bears the similarity of mundane. So as we find here that by the influence of the moon, here in this world, everything by the influence of the moon, they from the heat of the world, or the Rosh means the watery portion in the body that increases in every place. In Samudra, in ocean also this Jwar, the ebb and tide, what is that? Ebb and tide.
Tide.
Jwar,
high tide, low tide.
Comes,
high and low tide.
High and low. So, in full moon and the new moon, in nearing both these occasions, there the watery portion is swallowed, is enhanced, and thereby the enjoying spirit is also developed. I am talking it from the lecture of my Guru Maharaj in Kurukshetra in 1927, 28, 27. The basis, scientific basis, that by the movement of the earth, moon, planet and the sun, the heat becomes less and the exciting rush, the juice in our body is enhanced, and thereby it increases the tendency of exploitation, enjoyment. So, fasting is necessary to meet with that external movement of the nature. The fasting can save us from that peculiar reaction. So fasting has been recommended. And especially if one cannot fast at all, it is impossible, then he may take to some classes of diet that will give less cause for excitement. So anukalpa. And mainly fasting. Why? To check the senses. Because the senses at that time, by the natural flow, it becomes more intense and the result is that he is excited and he wants to enjoy, to encroach on the environment. So this unfair encroachment of one's own self to be controlled, this fasting has been recommended. This is one way. Another way, it is took to the center. In such season, the Krishna himself, he also felt more necessity of enjoying. And when Krishna feels more necessity, the devotees, they get a greater chance of service. The time is very valuable for them. The Krishna wants to enjoy. And at that time, devotees should be busy to supply his things for his enjoyment. So much so that they won't have any time to prepare themselves. Upa samipe vasa. Upa means samipe. Always to remain by the side of Krishna whenever and whatever he wants only to supply. They forget to taking their own food, etc., or any other thing. They want to be more visibly engaged for the service of Krishna, because in the time of need they will fetch more remuneration, that is affinity towards Krishna, more grace. So upvasa samipe vasa. And the secondary is to, by fasting, we can make our body dry. And so our enjoying spirit will be lessened. These two. The general explanation. Then there are so many things that everything is conscious, everything is personal. So Ekadashi has got her personal character, and she devotes herself for the service of Krishna with all accompanying them, and the service of Krishna engages her. And does not know any food or anything else. Does not allow others also in her group to take food and waste time, but always engagement with the service of Krishna underlying meaning is that. Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes. Why is then that we take some food and not other food?
That I told.
Why we take?
That are less injurious. Those that are considered to be less injurious, not more exciting. But in that way it has been. And also it is mentioned in another way in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Some peculiar things. They are fond of taking their shelter in those places which we reject. A pap. Pap means a type of sin that are very fond of taking their shelter in those trees and those places which we purely want to avoid. It is mentioned like that. Gaur Hari Gaur. Jai Gaur Hari Gaur. Jai Gaur Hari.
Maharaj,
Yes?
can you tell us also about the importance of Dwadashi? Can you tell us also about the importance of Dwadashi?
The importance of Dwadashi.
Yes. Ekadashi, Dwadashi, Purnima, Amavasya. So in the beginning, Dwadashi is more, in another word, we are told, another aspect, approach. That Ekadashi, Dwadashi, they are very favorite tithi of Holi. So in that, the underlying cause already explained then. But it is told that these two tithis, they are very favorite to Hori. And in those tithi, if we serve Hori, Hori will be pleased with a smaller service. So Dwadashi, Ekadashi, both are very favorite to Hari. So Dwadashi has been called more favorite but little lenient. So Ekadashi, only Ashtam Mahadvadashi, then there we can leave Ekadashi and we observe Dwadashi. Otherwise, Ekadashi observance is compulsory. Compulsory. Though Dwadashi is also honored and favorite of Hari, still Ekadashi has got preference for fasting. And only in the 8 cases, by the mixture of Nakshatra, Tithi, etc., the Dwadashi has got the preference over Ekadashi. That is the time when our small service will give us a greater result. That is the clue, the key. As in Ekadashi, in Dwadashi, if we serve, service is small, but we get some greater remuneration. Remuneration means his prem, priti, serving attitude, our earnestness. All these things will be enhanced in that particular season. That Hari wants to consume more from the service. So that is the fortune of the servitors. That Hari demands more service. So the importance of the servitors. At that time, during Ekadashi and Dwadashi, less service of Hari is more useful. That is the key. Hari Krishna. Gaur Hari Gaur. And in the approach of Purnima Ramavasya, that rasa, that the material eccentricity of enjoying energy comes to the highest degree. So check, in the beginning they check before full moon and new moon. It is checked nearby. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.